It was one of those moments in boxing where spectacle and uncertainty collide. Jake Paul, the social media titan turned pugilist, was supposed to walk into his next big fight with confidence and swagger. But then Gervonta Davis stepped forward, scary, hulking, transformed, and the boxing world held its breath.
What happens? What happens? That's what would sell it. I know the size difference is what creates the problem. The optics, the look, the reality. I mean, you got one guy who's fights at 135 pounds, and you got another guy who fights at 200. I mean, just that alone, yeah. But you also, and I'm not saying I want this or I like this when I heard it. No, I didn't like it, to be honest, for the optics and everything else I just said.
Was Jake Paul now facing more than just a champion? Was he facing a monster? Let's rewind. The rumors had already swirled. Davis, known for his lightning speed and knockout power at lightweight, was reportedly loading on serious muscle mass. Word spread that he'd been training like never before, bulking up, packing on lean mass to face a much bigger Jake Paul. For a fighter whose success is grounded in agility and precision, Davis's sudden size jump raised eyebrows and triggered alarm. Now, with the fight looming, whispers of panic around Paul's camp began to surface. Was he
I enjoy these fucking stupid spectacles. I enjoy them. I'm excited for it. The controversy, the press conference, the weigh-ins. Imagine those two stand next to each other. Yeah. Dude, Jake is a big motherfucker. Basically, like you two standing next to each other. Like if you guys stood up, it looks like that. Steiny's a little bit, I think, taller than Gervonta.
But I'm a feisty bro. It's not about the size of the dog. It's about the size of...
Rattled by the transformation. Was he reconsidering game plans? In this breakdown, we walk you through the full drama. From weights and physiques to psychological warfare, fight conditions, behind-the-scenes tensions, and what this all means when the bell rings. From the moment Paul and Davis agreed to meet, the size difference loomed large. Under the current terms, Jake Paul is permitted to weigh up to 95 pounds for the exhibition. Sky Sports. Meanwhile, Davis, historically a lightweight, fighting at about 135 pounds, has never carried much bulk.
A fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us some pounds. Hank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. Hank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. No, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you, apparently. Boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Hank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a...
Marca. Oh. That means Paul could outweigh Davis by around 50 to 60 pounds on fight night. World Boxing News, Bears. When those numbers first leaked, the reaction was immediate. Gasps, criticism, comparisons to mismatches of old. Critics argued it was akin to mismatching a featherweight and middleweight just for clicks, and it only became more dramatic when additional context emerged. Reports surfaced that Davis's camp had expected a lower WOWS 8 cap, some thought 190, that later shifted to 195. The sudden change reported...
Yeah, that was that. This time, Jake Paul is to take on Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he was recently in the news for being arrested for a domestic violence incident involving one of his kids' mother. He was alleged to have slapped her about the place. The charges were later dropped, to be fair to him. But yeah, that was when he was last in the news. What is interesting is just a couple of months ago, Tank Davis was saying openly that he'd lost his passion for boxing and that he wanted time away from the sport. There was speculation that he might even retire as he was experiencing extreme
mentally stunned Davis, who reacted visibly at being told the new limit. Operation Sports. Many fans took to social media with memes and hot takes. Y'all said it was 190, Davis appeared to say in a clip. Reddit. So, that shift, whether clerical or strategic, stoked suspicion from observers who felt Paul's team might be maneuvering advantage. Now add in the visual shock. At weigh-in promos and press events,
fatigue from boxing, depression, and there were mental health concerns over him. However, I guess the opportunity to earn a truck full of money, fighting a completely worthless exhibition fight against JakePaul, was enough to make him change his mind about boxing. Funny that, isn't it? But you know what? I'm not even going to waste your time or mine critiquing this utter nonsense. Suffice to say that this so-called fight we're talking about is an exhibition, and it pits JakePaul, who is a cruiserweight, by the way.
Davis looked bigger, wider, denser, heavier. Reports claimed he'd added serious muscle, altering his frame so that he no longer resembled the lithe, fast tank fans had come to know. That sent tremors through Paul's camp and across boxing forums. Paul's side, ever the showman, tried to deflect. They emphasized that size isn't everything.
A fucking disgrace of a fight. Yeah. You know it. Just like Mike Tyson, low-key was a disgrace, but we accepted it. But yeah, he was 60 years old. I mean, right. The casuals don't see the weight difference. They see JakePaul and Gervonta Davis. Yeah. And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up JakePaul, they're going to think JakePaul is some pound-for-pound champion type of fighter. Yeah. Gervonta Davis, he's actually really small. Like, when I fought him, he's small. Yeah. So I just think it's...
that speed, timing, and strategy still win fights. But insiders say the mood behind closed doors shifted. Suddenly, tactics mattered more than hype. Sparring, conditioning, injury risks, reach, stamina, every variable took on a new dimension. In interviews, Paul has maintained confidence. He projected that he would use his reach, his size, and keep Davis at bay.
Paul. So JakePaul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially JakePaul. But it now looks like that JakePaul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think. But the AJ fight with JakePaul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf, and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it.
Sky Sports. He also dropped a bold promise. Someone's going to sleep, meaning he planned to end the fight before the final bell. Bin Sports. Yet in the press build-up, he cracked jabs at Davis's height, appearance, and past controversies. Classic psychological warfare. The News International. Meanwhile, critics and boxing insiders weighed in. Terrence Crawford warned publicly, Jake is way too big for Tank. Ringmagazine.com. Other observers called the clash a clown show, a gimmick fight to cash in on
Paul versus Tank Davis. They just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on
controversy rather than competitive merit. Dave Portnoy, for example, tweeted that this was another clown show. He saw it as spectacle over sport. If Davis' bulk actually shifts his power or resilience upward, Paul's margin for error shrinks. A punch that might have been manageable could suddenly prove punishing. In any knockdown, not just the spectacle.